Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Hard West. In the previous episode, we assaulted the asylum, trying to learn the truth about the masked doctors, and then prepared everybody for what was to come in the quarry. Oh boy. Should be fun. I am worried about what's going to happen to John, because it says he won't be needing anything anymore, and we've hardly given anything to Luke. So I'm hoping things will work out fine for them, but I doubt that's the case. So let's head for the quarry. I didn't know what to expect in the quarry, but I knew it was going to be the battle of my life. I knew that once I went down there, I wouldn't be able to change any of my weapons, nor Phineas's for that matter. This was a point of no return. Before I entered, I had to be sure I was completely ready for this. This is not the final tactical mission. It is, however, the final one of this act. Before we move on to the next one. Before I entered, I had to be sure I was completely ready for this. Yeah, that's why we prepared our weapons before coming here. I was ready. I've worked that quarry ever since I could heft a pickaxe. I never saw a dime from it, but now it was free, and I could walk in there and put a bullet in the head of every son of a bitch who treated me rough, called me foul names and worse. But slavers is cowards at heart. As soon as they saw me, realized who I was and what I could do, them soft boys ran like a pack of scared piglets. Felt good, just not as good as plugging them full of lead. And to be fair, now that I'm remembering all this, I guess I might owe some of that to what I could do now with this superior body you made me. Back then, I was angry and I wanted answers. Why'd you choose me? Why'd you leave me to die there? What kind of man would do something like this? So I waited. I knew you'd show up eventually.
Liberty, I implore you. Let us go back to the surgery and I will show you. Circumstances forced me to abandon you.
Dun dun dun! Oh boy, for this one... Okay, we're gonna give Aldous the Navy gun, the chain rifle, and a healing elixir. Gonna open up the card screen, and as you can see, we are back where we were before all that. Boy. We're gonna give Phineas the sharpshooter's arm graft, and there's not much else we can do. Yeah, this is not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. My greatest achievement was interrupted most viciously.
The surgery was a triumph, and a resounding validation of my theories. Unless I stabilized your grafts, though, it would all be for naught. I prepared to redirect the flow of ether to you. Phineas was to open the valve on my signal.
Let's see. In one turn, open the ether flow using the main valve, then redirect it using the console. Ether is not flowing. At least he doesn't have his terminal decay.
It was done. I sighed with relief and smiled with barely contained satisfaction.
When you start smiling, I start worrying.
That's when I heard the commotion outside.
A bunch of scoundrels held their guns with what I interpreted as a hostile intention.
Initially, I mistook them for morphine addicts looking to ease their pain.
Then I realized they were led by a masked doctor. That preposterous plague mask was unmistakable.
Oh boy. So Phineas is gonna have to play some run and gun on this, while the good doctor acts as a distraction. For obvious reasons, Phineas has to survive this. Now let's get him behind some high cover. 64%, I'll take it. And unfortunately, he's in a position where I can't just move the good doctor to the other side in order to get a flanking shot on him. You jerk. I'm fairly certain that tombstone counts as cover to some degree. I can get him out here, but it's not going to be in one move. Could try and go for some fanning fire. And you know what? I'll take it. Didn't kill him, but it drained his luck something fierce. Not that that's much good for Phineas, because, well... yeah. Alright, let's get Phineas over here. Phineas. I can't get you over there. I can't get you over there without getting shot. Ooh. That's gonna leave you exposed. Well, that's something I may just have to do. Or I could just go for a shot on this guy. And you know what? I will. Didn't kill him. But it has left him exposed with very little luck. Dr. Gorman, if you would be so kind. Does mean you're gonna have to, well, maybe not necessarily spend your next turn reloading. Problem is Phineas is going to have to. And I'll take this to put him into double high cover. Gorman. Okay, I only know where two of these people are. That's not good. Oh my! Chance to hit, 80% across the board? Go for it.
For every rascal we eliminated, two more appeared. Fighting them individually was futile. Quickly, I came up with a plan. If I overloaded the pump in the chapel, it would distract them.
Well, that would have been nice to know earlier. And by that I mean knowing 3 of those guys were hiding there. Ah, boy. Alright, Dr. Gorman. 33% chance, 30% chance. Yeah, no point. I may as well spend this reloading my Navy gun. And now to pray that Phineas doesn't get killed. Which is looking pretty likely. Except that one idiot is focused more on Gorman. Okay, there goes that one. Ah, ooh. Phineas, I'm gonna have you move back here and reload your shotgun. I know I could probably take a shot at some of these guys around here. Ah, screw it. Turn well spent. Oh. So, yeah, these guys, they are infinitely spawning with a new one showing up each turn. Now, if you can kill 2 each turn, until you can, you know, or just to keep their numbers down, good, but I don't see that as being likely. It can be a good way, if you choose, to net a lot of ether, but I wouldn't recommend that. Because, yeah, like Dr. Gorman said, as you kill them, more are just going to keep showing up. So we're better off just getting the objectives done and over with. Okay, there's one over there. I'm really wishing Phineas had some healing items, but we didn't have a whole lot of options in that regard. All focused on Phineas, which is not really the best of things. Alright, yeah. Somebody over there. Let's see, do I take the shot? No, I think it's better if I just keep moving with Phineas. Obviously, one action point at a time, because otherwise we could find ourselves in a whole mess of trouble. Can't reach the valve in one movement, so let's get you over here. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can only do it from that side. If I could do it from this side, then I'd consider it, but no. Where would be a better placement for you? Probably somewhere where he'd be forced to move around a fair bit just to get towards me. So right there would be good, I hope. Okay, so far Phineas isn't really dealing with any problems. Oh, okay, I'm taking that healing elixir this turn. But that also means I can't hit that valve. Okay, good. Phineas can hit this valve in one turn. And then he can get behind this double high cover. Alright, get that valve.
The trap was set. The pump explosion would knock everyone there unconscious. Meantime, I needed to get help and try to find some answers.
Well, this may cause some problems for me. Okay, get back behind that tombstone. Rather large tombstone. Let's see. Okay. I now need to get Phineas back into the church. Get Dr. Gorman to the main exit. I didn't see what the health was on that person. Three. I probably could have gone in and killed them, but no. Of course, she's going to be guarding that area, and most likely have a reaction shot ready. What to do, what to do. Can't just sit there. He's only got 3 health left. Okay, I'm gonna move him over here. Pray that I'm able to take this girl out in one shot. Okay, good. Dr. Gorman. Fastest route will be through this way, but that will require having to deal with that guy. Okay, Dr. Gorman, you get over here behind these boxes. Oh, come on! I see why they say this is the hardest mission of the game. Alright, Phineas can get to and activate the valve. But I can't get Dr. Gorman to the exit. Yay! And chances are this guy's going to move into a position which blocks me from getting there without having to deal with a reaction shot. Because that's just how my luck is going. If I wasn't down to 1 HP, I'd consider just booking it if that was the case. Yeah, what'd I tell ya? Of course, that's assuming they just don't outright kill me. I'll be back. Okay, I have essentially gotten back to the same position I was in before. In a much better position. I haven't used my healing elixir yet. Gorman's down to 5 HP. Phineas is still mostly full. He's only taken 1 damage. Haven't run into as many enemies with him as I have before, so that's some luck there. If you want, you can try and stick around to farm some ether. I'm not going to do that. It's entirely up to you. Now, Phineas can reach the valve in 1 movement. Well, not in 1 movement, but he can do it this turn. Unfortunately, Gorman cannot reach the exit. But he's damn close. I know there's somebody right there, so I'm going to take a risky maneuver. Put Gorman over here. Hope that one guy over there, whom I already took a very risky shot from and didn't get killed somehow. And then I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that Gorman doesn't get killed. Okay, Gorman. There's somebody right there, isn't there? Oh, please don't tell me I have to kill everyone in the exit zone. Okay, he's in the exit zone. Activate the trap. Okay, then.
The blast resulting from the overloading ether pump was a sight to behold. Heavy though it weighed on my heart, I knew I could not solve that conundrum on the cemetery. I had to find the other masked doctors and tell them of this treason.
And I'm supposed to believe that's why you left me to die?
I had no choice. But I instructed Phineas to protect you, and you survived.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's how this pretty much goes. But that is apparently the hardest mission in the entire game. So, first things first, we're going to start by heading to the Duval residence. The attack on my laboratory was shocking. I suspected a rogue sect within our organization had made me their target. I was confident, however, that my good friend and leader of the masked doctors, Dr. Duval, would clear this matter in no time. I was only partly right. When I told him about the attack, he smiled condescendingly and admitted that he was behind it. Then he went on a screed about my renegade actions and outlandish experiments, saying they were a blight on his political career. He intended to win the governor's position by ridding Texas of the scourge of body snatchers. I reminded him of the ideals of the society that he helped establish. He laughed harshly and said that the masked doctors were no longer mattered, at least not beyond the political and economic connections they granted. That might as well no longer exist. That was when his thugs began manhandling me. I will spare you the details, but it was more than a little unpleasant. I woke up on the operating table with Duval's head floating above me. He asked me to choose which body parts I wanted him to mutilate first. So this will basically get you a couple of scars, depending on your choice. In this case, the guide recommends that you appeal to his decency and ask to let him keep his brain, which will get you the gouged eye and missing forefinger scars. I appealed to his decency and asked him to let me keep my brain.
My radical ideas upset the primitive minds of the locals, which put me at odds with Duval's political ambition. He betrayed me, left me mutilated and humiliated in a refuge for penniless wretches.
Yeah. It had been several months since Duval mutilated my body. I had hardly recuperated. By the time the wounds inflicted on me turned to scars, I was a different man. My reputation was ruined. My patients were being tended by my competitors. My possessions had been taken by the Home Guard. Worst of all, I had no news about you. My despair was bottomless. Still, I regained strength over time. Luckily, I had lost none of my medical skills and was able to help around the shelter. This also provided me an excellent opportunity to continue my research. 100. Which means we've lost all the ether, and I'm kind of wishing I had activated Cheat Engine beforehand. That's what I used to get my ether to where it is. This also provided an excellent opportunity to continue my research. Eventually, I recruited 3 of my fellow inmates to aid my cause. Theodore, Luis, and Gunther, the 3 we had killed beforehand. Theodore had been a traveling merchant. With my limited resources, I could either restore his amazing sight or his well-traveled legs. Mend Theodore's aim. I chose superior aim. Luis was a cross old hag who harbored romantic feelings for me. I had no interest in her, of course. I have never been unfaithful to you, Liberty. For combat purposes, however, I could restore Luis's amazing endurance if I removed what she called her lucky wart. Let's see, for Luis, we're going to want to fix her survivability. Gunther lost his command in the American-Mexican War of 1846 and returned home a haunted man who cared not for life. The only enthusiasm I ever saw in him was when he joined my team, testament to his powerful death wish. He was unfortunately completely out of shape. With what few supplies I had, I could remove his less vital organs and improve his durability, or remove the cataracts from his eyes, allowing him to shoot better. For him, you're going to want to fix his eyes. These improvements got my men back in the fight, but there was much more I could accomplish with the right parts and enough ether. Throughout all this, though, my primary goal remained finding you. We left the misery of the shelter behind, and I was determined to make something of my companions, and myself. Yes, he has essentially become, well, what he is. Gouged eye, missing forefinger, good. It doesn't actually say what's here. But that's fine. Now then, there is a note here that we're going to want to head for Maple Falls. There is a note here that the following choices might not work in acquiring this graft, and we are going to want this graft. So we're probably going to Alt F4 a fair amount depending on how this goes. I'm not 100% sure. Because that's the only way to get out without creating an autosave, which would then prevent us from getting the gambler's liver graft. So, once we're there, head for Maple Falls. Then we're going to look for body parts. An inveterate gambler, already deep in his cups, was boasting that he'd already won everything valuable in town. He asserted he could bet his own head and have no fear of ever losing it. It gave me an idea to make him back up his words, but I wasn't ready yet. Then we're going to want to head for the general store. Come on, load up. This always happens on the second recording of the day. And we're going to want to buy some loaded dice. I'm not going to be messing with my cash, just the ether. Now we're going to want to head back. I returned to that noxious fellow who wanted to gamble for his body parts. Man was boasting he'd already won everything valuable in town. He asserted he could bet his own head and have no fear of ever losing it. I baited him into betting his liver against me. For my part, I would enhance my luck with a pair of trick dice. Okay, we actually managed it the first time around. Right, and we got the achievement High Stakes. Win a liver in a game of dice. Yikes. My deceitful cubes were the end of him. And we also got ether. Son of a gun. No matter, I'll take care of that next episode because we're actually out of time, so I'm just going to finish this off. I can only commend his honorable attitude. Rather than Welsh on the bet, he ordered the final slug of whiskey and asked where he might conduct the operation. When it was done, I sent his liver to the morgue and managed to gather some extra ether. Then we left the gambler to enjoy his final hours. Drunk as he was, I can't imagine they were altogether pleasant. Now, there is also a different method to obtaining the gambler's liver graft. You're going to want to... I did a little extra reading and found out when you return to the gambler's den... Return to the gambler with loaded dice, you need to pick the first option, i.e. gamble for liver, and then you get a subsequent chance to use the dice. If you pick the second option, i.e. cheat with the dice from the start, he catches you and you shoot him. Right. Well, thankfully we didn't need to worry about that because we did get the gambler's liver. But with that, we have come to an end for this episode of Hard West. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications for when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.